Bgmc. The biblical truth lives here.
The ancient Hebrew scriptures foretold of the Anointed One, Yeshua HaMashiach. The Messiah Yeshua came to call the people back to the truth of His word and to follow that righteous path. Yeshua then called Jewish men to be His disciples, and after His death and resurrection, those Jewish men told the world about the Jewish Messiah. Now, after 2,000 years, Beth Goyim Messianic congregation has that same calling of those Jewish men, telling all people, both Jew and Gentile, about the proper ancient path, teaching the Route 66 King's Highway from Genesis through to Revelation, and how you need and can get back to the proper roots of the faith and a closer walk with God. Now, let's hear the message.
Let's go get a blessing. Turn to the book of Galatians chapter 6.
Vamos en búsqueda de una bendición. Abramos nuestras Biblias en el libro de Gálatas.
This is the Citygate Messianic Bible Study, Galatians study.
Este es el estudio bíblico, los portones de la ciudad, el estudio de Gálatas.
This is part number 13.
Esta es la parte número 13.
We're going to start off by reading chapter 6 of Galatians because we're starting off the chapter.
Vamos a comenzar leyendo el capítulo 6 de Gálatas.
Okay, so let's read Galatians chapter 6.
Vamos a leer el capítulo 6 de Gálatas.
Once again, I am Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman from Beth Goyim Messianic Congregation, where Jew and Gentile worship Yeshua as the Messiah as one people. I am Rabino Messianico Hanon ben Moshe of Beth Goyim Messianico Internacional. Judío y gentil are uno Mesías von la palabra de Dios 66 Génesis al Apocalipsis. We're reading Gálatas 6.
Estamos leyendo Gálatas el capítulo número 6.
Brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You who have the Spirit should set him right, but in a spirit of humility, keeping an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted to bear one another's burdens. In this way, you will be fulfilling the Torah's true meaning, which the Messiah upholds. For if anyone thinks he is something when he is really nothing, he is fooling himself. So let each of you scrutinize his own actions. Then if you do find something to boast about, at least the boasting will be based on what you have actually done and not merely on a judgment that you are better than someone else. For each person will carry his own load, but whoever is being instructed in the word should share all the good things he has with his instructor. Don't delude yourselves. No one makes a fool of Yehovah. A person reaps what he sows. Those who keep sowing in the field of their old nature in order to meet its demands will eventually reap ruin. But those who keep sowing in the field of the Spirit will reap from the Spirit everlasting life. So let us not now grow weary in doing what is good, for if we don't give up, we will in due time reap a harvest. Therefore, as the opportunity arises, let us do what is good to everyone, and especially to the family of those who are trusting, faithful. Look at the large letters I use as I close in my own handwriting. It is those who want to look good outwardly who are trying to get you to be circumcised. The only reason they're doing this, it is to escape persecution for preaching about Messiah's cross. For even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. On the contrary, they want you to get circumcised so they can boast having gained your adherence. But as for me, heaven forbid that I should boast about anything except the cross of the Lord Yeshua the Messiah. Through him, as far as I am concerned, the world has been put to death on the cross. And through him, as far as the world is concerned, I've been put to death on the cross. For neither being circumcised nor being uncircumcised matters. What matters is being a new creation. And as many as order their lives by this rule, shalom upon them and mercy upon the Israel of God. From now on, I don't want anyone to give me any pseudous problems because I have scars on my body to prove that I belong to Yeshua. The grace of the Lord Yeshua the Messiah be with you in spirit, brothers. Amen. All right, so now we're going to go to Galatians chapter 6. This study, we're on slide number, what slide we're on? 232.
Vamos a comenzar aquí a estudiar el libro, el capítulo 6 de Gálatas. Estamos en la diapositiva 232.
Okay, going on to the next slide.
Vamos a la
Galatians
siguiente.
chapter 6.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva, Gálatas capítulo 6.
Going on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, so now we're going to do the synopsis.
Vamos a hacer el sinopsis o el resumen.
Because we read a very interesting final part of his letter.
Porque hemos leído una parte muy importante de la última parte de su carta.
As we've gone through over the last 12 weeks,
Como hemos pasado 12 semanas estudiando el libro de Gálatas
we proved without a doubt
y aprobamos sin duda
that Shaul was not preaching against the Torah.
que Pablo no estaba predicando en contra de la Torah.
But a lot of people who just read chapter 6
Pero para muchas personas que solamente leen el capítulo 6,
think that, see, it doesn't matter if you're circumcised or not.
piensan que no importa si está circuncidado o no.
Okay? Now, this whole letter could have been shortened by 5 chapters.
Esta carta completa se pudo haber resumida como por 5 capítulos.
With one line from section number 5 in chapter 6.
Con una sola oración en la sección 6.
No, section
En
5,
la sección 5, en el capítulo 6,
yeah, verse 15.
en el versículo 15.
So let's look at verse 15.
Vamos a leer el versículo 15.
For neither being circumcised nor being uncircumcised matters. What matters is being a new creation. Okay? So what does a new creation mean?
¿Qué significa el ser una nueva creación?
That's what most people do not understand.
Esto es lo que la mayoría de personas no entienden.
That a new creation means that you put away old sin.
Que una nueva creación significa de que guardas tus pecados antiguos.
But if we're under grace,
Pero si estamos bajo la gracia,
why do I have to put away my old life?
¿por qué debo de yo deshacerme de mi vida vieja?
Okay? So if you have it in your Bible, underline that verse 15.
Si lo tienes en tu Biblia, por favor, subraya este versículo, el número 15.
So being a new creation means understanding what a new creation would be.
Ser una nueva creación es entender qué significa ser una nueva creación.
I mean, it's very simple to understand.
Es muy sencillo el entenderlo.
Shaul, that's Paul, the emissary,
Pablo, el emisario,
should have just posed the question.
simplemente debió hacer una pregunta.
What is a new creation to Elohim?
¿Qué es una nueva creación hacia Elohim?
Can something meant for holiness be used for ungodliness?
¿Será que algo que fue diseñado para la santidad puede ser usado para algo que no es santo?
So if you're uncircumcised,
Si tú no eres circuncidado,
can you really be used for godliness?
¿será que podrías tú ser usado para la santidad?
Because if you're not going to circumcise your flesh for a male,
Para los hombres, si tú no vas a circuncidar tu parte,
what else are you going to do?
¿qué más vas a hacer?
You know, what other sin are you going to do?
¿Qué otros pecados vas a cometer?
So if you're going to not be circumcised in the flesh, you're probably going to eat unclean food.
Si no estás circuncidado en la carne, entonces tal vez comerías comida que no son puras.
Well, the Christian will say, well, God uses me.
Muchos de los cristianos dicen, pero Dios aún así me usa.
He also used Hitler, Stalin, and Judas.
Él aún así usó a Hitler, a Stalin y a Judas.
And he also used Pharaoh.
Y también usó al faraón.
Okay, so don't lump yourself with those people.
No se junten con esas personas.
You know, because I always have these conversations with Christians.
Porque yo muchas veces tengo este tipo de conversaciones con cristianos.
You know, God used Billy Graham.
Dicen, Dios usó a Billy Graham.
Yeah, God used Pharaoh also.
Ya, y también él usó al faraón.
So here we go. Jaque mate.
Aquí voy, jaque mate.
Okay. So here, can something meant for holiness be used for ungodliness?
¿Será que algo que fue usado, creado para la santidad puede ser usado para algo que no es santo?
Of course not. He can't use something if you're ungodly. He's not going to use you.
Si tú no eres santificado, entonces él no te va a usar.
But the other part is this.
Pero la otra parte es esta.
If you still act like a pagan,
Si tú aún actúas como un pagano,
but have circumcision,
pero tienes la circuncisión,
what good is it?
¿de qué te sirve?
Okay, so if you get circumcised, this is what Shaul is talking about in chapter 6.
En el capítulo 6, de esto es lo que habla Pablo.
That if you're circumcised,
De que si estás circuncidado,
but you do drugs or go to prostitutes,
que si usa drogas o vas donde las prostitutas,
or you're circumcised
o estás circuncidado,
and you are a homosexual male,
y eres un hombre homosexual,
and you're putting your man part where you're not supposed to put it,
y pones tu parte de hombre donde no debes de ponerla,
that means you're acting like a pagan.
eso significa que estás actuando como un pagano.
Okay? And if you're acting like a pagan, but you wear the tzitziot,
Pero si actúas como un pagano y aún te pones los tzitzis,
okay, you're not a new creation.
tú no eres una nueva creación.
Okay? So you need to have the circumcision of both the heart and the flesh.
Necesitas tener la circuncisión del corazón y también de la carne.
Okay? So a new creation means that your soul is a new creation.
Una nueva creación significa que tu alma es una nueva creación.
Then the circumcision does matter.
Entonces, si es así, entonces sí es significante la circuncisión.
Okay, let's put it simpler.
Vamos a hacerlo más sencillo.
Once you get a circumcised heart,
Una vez que obtengas un corazón circuncidado, circuncides tu corazón,
you will want to do what God asks of you.
tú querrás hacer lo que Jehová pide de ti.
You will realize how much pain you caused Yeshua.
Te vas a dar cuenta cuánto dolor le causaste a Yeshua.
And when you realize how much pain your life caused him,
Y cuando te des cuenta y realices de que cuánto dolor le causaste,
then you want, at least for myself, I wanted to give back my whole life.
por lo menos yo quise darle mi vida entera completa a él.
It amazes me that people, once you realize the truth,
Esto me asombra que una persona una vez que conoce la verdad,
that they don't tithe their time to Beth Goyim or the ministry that you're in.
que ellos no donan su tiempo al ministerio o a Bet Goyim.
Okay? Like you have gifting.
Si tienes dones,
Or let's say you don't even really have gifting.
y digamos que no tengas los dones,
That you say, I'm willing to learn.
y tú dices, yo estoy dispuesto a aprender,
Okay? That's really our issue.
este es nuestro problema.
And that's what Shaul is talking about, becoming this new creation.
Y de esto es que habla Pablo, de hacerse una nueva creación.
Because most people are selfish.
Porque la mayoría de las personas son egoístas.
Does anybody agree with that?
¿Será que todos están de acuerdo con eso?
Most people you work with are selfish.
La mayoría de las personas con las cuales trabajas son egoístas.
Most people outside, I mean, just look at driving.
Imagínate solo cuando estás manejando tu auto.
The person, you're trying to pull out of the street.
Tú estás tratando de salir de una calle.
I think better. You're trying to pull out of the street,
Estás tratando de salir de una calle
and there's a red light,
y hay una luz roja allí.
and the person, has to be on the bumper of the car in front of it not to let you in.
Y la persona se va a poner de tal manera, se va a cruzar de tal manera en la carretera para no darte el paso.
That's selfishness.
Esto es ser egoísta.
Okay? Do I have an amen for that?
¿Será que me dan un amén por esto?
So a new creation means that you're giving,
Una nueva creación significa que tú vas a dar,
that you want to bless your fellow person.
que tú quieras bendecir a tus compañeros.
And this is what Rav Shaul is talking about in the close of his letter to the Galatians.
Y eso es que el Pablo habla al finalizar su carta.
Because the reason I talked about selfishness,
La razón por la cual hablo del egoísmo,
when you become a new creation,
cuando pasas a ser una nueva creación,
you are set free from Pharaoh.
entonces ya tú eres libre del faraón.
You are set free from the devil.
Tú entonces también eres puesto en libertad del Satanás.
You are set free from slavery.
También eres puesto en libertad de la esclavitud.
To walk freely with Jehovah Elohim.
Para caminar abiertamente con Yeshua,
Jehovah Elohim.
con Jehová Elohim.
Okay? That's what he's talking about in the final chapter of Galatians.
A esto es que él se refiere en la parte final de Gálatas.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Galatians chapter 6
Gálatas capítulo 6
is broken down into 5 sections.
está separado en 5 secciones.
Okay? Section number 1.
Sección número 1.
And I'll do it for the... Section number 1
Sección número 1
is verse 1 through 5.
es del versículo 1 al 5.
Fulfilling the Torah's true meaning. Completing the Torah's true meaning.
Completando el entendimiento completo de la Torah.
Okay, so section 1 is verse 1 through 5.
La sección 1 es el versículo 1 al 5.
Okay, section number 2
Sección número 2
is verse 6.
es el versículo 6.
Being instructed in the word.
Siendo instruido en la palabra.
Okay, this is a key
Esta es la clave.
because remember, the New Testament is not written.
Porque recuerden que el Nuevo Testamento aún no estaba escrito.
So what word would that be?
Entonces, ¿qué palabra sería esa?
Okay, that is a key here. What word would that be?
La palabra, ¿qué clave? Esta es la clave aquí, la palabra.
Now, section number 3
Y ahora la sección 3
is verse 7 through 10.
es el versículo 7 al 10.
And that is called keep sowing in the field of their old nature.
Y se llama recogiendo en el campo de su naturaleza vieja.
Sowing in the field of the old nature.
Recogiendo en el campo de su naturaleza vieja.
And eventually you'll reap ruin, like you'll come to disaster.
Y eventualmente vas a cosechar ruinas.
Okay, now section number 4
Ahora la sección número 4
is verse 11.
es versículo
14.
11 al 14.
Oh, section 4, 11,
La sección 4 es el versículo 11 al 14.
second. Okay. And that is, even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah.
Y esto se titula, aún aquellos que son circuncidados no observan la Torá.
And finally, section number 5
Y finalmente la sección número 5
is verse 15 through 18.
es el versículo 15 al 18.
What matters is being a new creation.
Lo que importa es que seas una nueva creación.
That if you learn anything about Galatians,
Si aprendiste algo de Gálatas,
is that what does it mean to be
es qué significa ser una nueva creación.
what does it mean? One second, I'm having a. That's you. Okay, it is cutting out. Okay. All right. All right. What does it mean? What matters is being a new creation.
Lo que importa es ser una nueva creación.
Okay. So what is an old creation?
¿Qué es una vieja criatura?
And what is a new
¿Y
creation?
qué es una nueva criatura?
All right, we're going to go through all this.
Vamos a repasar todo esto.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, we're going to read verse 1 through 5.
Vamos a leer el versículo 1 al 5.
Okay, Galatians chapter 6,
Gálatas capítulo 6,
verse 1 through 5.
versículo 1 al 5.
This is section number 1.
Esta es la sección número 1.
Okay? Brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You who have the Spirit should set him right. But in the spirit of humility, keep an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted too. Bear one another's burdens. In this way, you will be fulfilling the Torah's true meaning, which the Messiah upholds. For if anyone thinks he is something when he is really nothing, he is fooling himself. So let each of you scrutinize his own actions. Then if you do find something to boast about, at least boasting will be based on what you have actually done and not merely on judgment that you are better than someone else. For each person will carry his own load. Okay, so let's break this down.
Dividamos esta hora.
Okay, let's go back to verse number 1.
Vámonos al versículo número 1.
Okay, brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You have the Spirit should set him right, but in the spirit of humility, keeping an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted too. Okay, now the key part is in the beginning of the verse.
La parte clave está al principio del versículo.
Now why is that important?
Porque esto es importante.
Why is this part important here? Or you see my arrow?
Porque esta parte es importante. Si ven dónde estoy señalándolo.
Okay, what is wrong?
¿Qué está mal aquí?
Okay, brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. I thought we were under grace, Paul.
Cuando dice aquí si hay alguien que es sorprendido haciendo alguna falta, ¿qué pasó si estamos viviendo bajo gracia?
Come on. It is a key verse.
Este es un verso clave.
Why is it so key?
¿Por qué decimos que es un verso clave?
Because the reason that it's right?
No, you can't. You want to switch?
No.
Un momento.
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now, in verse number 1,
En el versículo número 1,
we see Paul doing something wrong.
vemos que habla de ser sorprendido haciendo algo malo.
Okay. One, two, one, two, one, two, one. Can you just turn your mic off for 1 second? I want you to.
Sure.
Two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. 1 second here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now I fix the antenna. After the holy days, things get messed up. One, two. There we go. 1, 2. That's better. The antenna had fallen. Gotta switch the channels and do some other technology fun. All right. Now let's go back to Galatians 6, verse 1.
Vamos de vuelta a Galatas 6, versículo 1.
Brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. Let's just pause right there.
So, detengámonos en esta parte.
Okay? And now, if we're under grace,
Ahora, si es que estamos bajo gracia,
what would be something wrong?
¿qué sería algo incorrecto o malo?
I thought we could all do cocaine.
Yo pensé que todos podíamos meternos cocaína.
I thought we could be homosexuals.
Yo pensé que podíamos ser homosexuales.
I thought we could steal each other's clothing.
Yo pensé que podíamos robarnos la vestimenta de cada uno.
But because we're under grace.
Pero porque estamos bajo gracia.
So with Galatians 6, verse 1,
Gálatas, capítulo 6, versículo 1.
that proves that we're still under the law.
Nos prueba que aún estamos bajo la ley.
Because what would be right and what would be wrong?
Porque ¿qué es lo que sería correcto y qué es lo que sería incorrecto?
Who says what is right
¿Quién dijo que es correcto?
and who says what is wrong?
¿Y quién dijo que es incorrecto?
Well, Jehovah in his Torah says what is right and what is wrong.
Jehová y su Torah dicen que está bien y qué es lo que está mal.
So it is perfectly evident
Es evidente
that we can fully understand that being circumcised must still happen.
Estamos viendo que es claro que el ser circuncidado debe aún seguir en vigencia.
Because Jehovah said to Abraham, circumcise everybody in your house.
Porque el Señor le dijo a Abraham que circuncide a todo varón en su casa.
Jehovah said to Moshe, nobody who is uncircumcised can eat of the Pesach.
Jehová le dijo a Moisés que nadie que no sea circuncidado puede comer de la Pascua.
And Yeshua, our Messiah, said, do the Pesach in remembrance of me.
Y Yeshua, el Mesías, dijo, haz esto, haz la Pascua, celebra la Pascua en memoria mía.
So if you don't celebrate the Pesach like we just did, and it was good.
Si no celebraste la Pascua como lo hicimos, y déjame decirte que estaba bueno.
If you celebrate 7 days of the Pesach, that is bad.
Si celebraste 7 días de Pesach, eso está mal.
Because it's 1 day of Pesach and 7 days of Hag Matzah.
Porque es un día de Pesach y 7 días de Hag Matzah.
No matter how much the Jews try to confuse you.
No importa cuánto los judíos traten de confundirte.
Okay, it's only 1 day of Pesach
Es solamente un día de Pascua
and 7 days of Hag Matzah.
y 7 días de Hag Matzah.
And then there's the Bikurim.
Y después el Bikurim.
Okay, so these things are right.
Estas cosas son correctas.
So if somebody is not celebrating the biblical holy days,
Entonces, si alguien no está celebrando los días santos bíblicos,
then they would be caught doing something wrong.
entonces a ellos los encontrarían o los sorprenderían haciendo algo malo.
See, now it's not cutting out.
Amén.
The antenna had fallen.
Oh, te entiendo.
Okay. But we are capturing it right here, Raved. Uh-huh. We figured it out. All right. Verse number 1 again.
Versículo número 1 otra vez.
Brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You who have the Spirit should set him right. But in the spirit of humility, keeping an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted too. Okay, so the next part we look at in verse number 1
La siguiente parte que vemos en el versículo 1
is having the Spirit.
es tener el Espíritu.
You who have the Spirit.
Tú que tienes el Espíritu.
Now, would the Spirit the Ruach HaKodesh, or the Espíritu Santo,
Con el Ruach HaKodesh o el Espíritu Santo, the Holy Spirit.
would the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, would it contradict the Father?
¿Será que el Ruach o el Espíritu Santo contradice al Padre?
That would be no.
Eso sería la respuesta que no.
And you know that is a true statement
Y sabes que esto es algo verdadero que se dice.
because you have the beginning of the verse.
Porque tienes al principio del versículo.
Because if you're caught doing something wrong.
Porque si se te encuentra haciendo algo malo,
How do I know what is wrong?
¿cómo yo sé que es mal?
Well, the Spirit's going to tell me.
El Espíritu me lo va a decir.
The Spirit's not going to contradict Jehovah.
El Espíritu no va a contradecir a Jehová.
Okay? So here, if you have the Spirit,
Aquí si tienes el Espíritu,
that means you are Torah observant.
significa que eres observante de la Torah.
Those who don't have the Spirit,
Aquellos que no tienen el Espíritu,
but have the spirit of the devil,
pero tienen el Espíritu del demonio,
then they don't have God's laws.
entonces no tienen las leyes de Dios.
Okay? Now, like I said, this is building through the 5 other chapters.
Y esto se ha ido acumulando con los últimos 5 capítulos.
Okay? So he builds up to the end of the letter.
Entonces, al final de la carta, todo esto está como construyéndose.
I really wish Rav Shaul wasn't so long-winded, but he didn't write so daggone much.
No, can you repeat that again?
I wish he didn't write so much.
Yo deseo que Rav Shaul no hubiera escrito mucho.
It would have been easier if he just wrote chapter 6.
Hubiera sido fácil si él hubiera escrito solo el capítulo 6.
But remember, this is his first letter,
Pero recuerda también que esta es su primera carta.
okay? And this is his first congregation.
Y esta es su primera congregación.
He wrote too much
Él escribió mucho
because he was new at being a leader.
porque él era nuevo en esto de ser líder.
If he just wrote chapter 6, it would have been so much less confusion.
Si él hubiera escrito solo el capítulo 6, hubiera sido menos confuso.
Or if he just wrote one page.
O si hubiera escrito solo una página.
Because the whole book of Galatians is one letter.
Porque el libro de Gálatas es solo una carta.
Okay? So verse number 1 again, please.
Versículo número 1 otra vez, por favor.
Okay? Brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You have the Spirit should set him right. But in the spirit of humility, keeping an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted too. Amen? Now the next part is keeping an eye on yourself.
La siguiente parte es ustedes tengan cuidado en ustedes mismos.
We're in Galatians chapter 6, verse 1.
Estamos en Gálatas capítulo 6, versículo 1.
Okay, Galatians chapter 6, verse 1.
Gálatas capítulo 6, versículo 1.
So we're keeping an eye on ourselves.
Cuando estamos cuidando de nosotros mismos,
What am I looking for?
¿qué es lo que yo estoy buscando?
Why do I have to keep an eye on myself?
¿Por qué tengo que cuidar de mí mismo?
Because salvation is personal.
Porque la salvación es personal.
And this also proves another thing.
Y eso también prueba una cosa más.
If you're keeping an eye on yourself,
Si tú estás cuidando de ti mismo,
this proves that once saved, always saves is inaccurate.
esto prueba que la teoría de una vez salvo, siempre salvo es algo incorrecto.
Because if it was true that once saved, always saved is true,
Porque si fuera verdad la teoría de que una vez salvo y siempre salvo,
then why
fuera
do I got to
verdad,
keep an eye on myself?
entonces ¿por qué debo cuidar de mí mismo?
Right?
¿Verdad?
Because if I don't keep an eye on myself, then I can slip down the mountain and fall into sin again, right?
Porque pues si no debo cuidar de mí mismo, puedo subir una montaña y caer en pecado otra vez.
So somebody in sin is not going to be getting into heaven, right?
Entonces alguien que esté en pecado no va a llegar al cielo.
If you're in open rebellion, you're not getting into heaven.
Si estás en rebeldía directa o descaradamente, no entrarás al cielo.
Is everybody seeing this? How if you just slow down and read, you'd understand Galatians.
Están viendo esto, que si se detienen y leen despacio van a comprender Gálatas.
But that's what a lot of people don't do.
Pero eso es lo que mucha gente no hace.
Because what most people do is they read the Bible with a pre-agenda.
Porque los que leen la Biblia, la mayoría leen la Biblia con una agenda ya establecida.
instead of reading the words and what it says.
En lugar de leer solamente la palabra y entender lo que dice.
Now let's read verse 1 again.
Leamos el versículo 1 otra vez.
Brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You who have the Spirit should set him right, but in the spirit of humility, keeping an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted too. Okay? Now, you should do it nicely.
Eh,
You should do it
debes hacer-
nicely, in humility,
Debes hacerlo bien humildad,
because you might be in the same position one day also.
porque también estarías en la misma posición algún día.
Okay? Because the devil, he doesn't have to go to work.
Porque el demonio no tiene que ir al trabajo.
He doesn't have to go food shopping.
Él no tiene que ir a hacer compras.
He doesn't have to do laundry.
Él no tiene que lavar la ropa.
Okay? So he can pay attention to trying to mess you up day in and day in and day out.
Entonces él puede tratar de hacer cosas para hacerte caer día y noche.
But there's an interesting thing about the end of verse 1.
Pero hay algo muy interesante al final del versículo 1.
Being tempted.
Siendo tentados.
If I'm under grace, what do I have to worry about being tempted?
Si estás bajo la gracia, entonces ¿por qué te debes preocupar de ser tentado?
If everything is okay to do,
Si todo está bien en hacer,
if everything is okay to eat,
si todo está bien, si todo se puede comer,
then why do I have to worry about being tempted?
entonces ¿de qué me debo preocupar de ser tentado?
Very interesting way of looking at it, right?
Algo muy interesante para observar.
But we're under grace.
Pero estamos bajo la gracia.
So that means I can look at pornography?
Entonces, ¿significa que puedo ver pornografía?
No.
No.
Well, then I can eat a ham sandwich, right?
Entonces puedo comerme un sándwich de jamón.
You can't look in pornography, but you can eat a ham sandwich.
No puedes ver pornografía, pero sí comerte un sándwich de jamón.
How do you arrive at that?
¿Cómo es que tú llegas a esa conclusión?
How do you come up with these silly rules?
¿Cómo es que tú llegas a estas reglas estúpidas?
You either follow God or you don't.
O tú sigues a Dios o simplemente no lo haces.
Okay? So he starts this chapter off very powerful.
Entonces él comienza este capítulo con una manera poderosa.
What
fuerte.
would tempt me?
Pero ¿qué me tentaría?
Tempted in a bad way.
Tentar en una mala manera.
How do I know what is bad?
¿Cómo yo sé que es malo?
That must prove that we're still under the law.
Esto debe probar que estamos aún bajo la ley.
Isn't this fascinating?
¿No es esto fascinante?
So many Christians are going to hell because they misread the book of Galatians.
Muchos cristianos irán al infierno porque no han fallado en leer la carta de Gálatas.
So many men will not get circumcised because it doesn't really matter.
Muchos hombres no se circuncidarán porque realmente no importa.
That's what they read in verse 15, chapter 6, verse 15.
Eso es lo que leen en el capítulo 6, versículo 15.
That's not what he's saying.
Esto no es lo que él está diciendo.
Now, what is tempted?
¿Qué es tentación?
What can somebody tempt you with?
¿Cómo alguien te puede tentar?
Well, if you work this Shabbat, you will save your job.
Si trabajas este Shabbat, tú no serás despedido.
And if you don't work, I'm going to fire you.
Y si no trabajas, te voy a despedir.
Then you say, you'll be talking to my lawyer.
Entonces tú le dices, hablarás con mi abogado.
And you're going to make me rich.
Y me vas a hacer millonario.
Because I'm going to sue you from a Jewish lawyer.
Porque te voy a demandar con un abogado judío.
But tempted.
Pero tentado.
Men are tempted with younger women.
Los hombres son tentados con mujeres más
They've been with their
jóvenes.
wife for a couple of years.
Han estado con sus esposas por algunos años.
You know, so many marriages fail at year 5
Muchos matrimonios fallan
because they get that 5-year itch.
porque llegan a esos 5 años.
Mhm. So you have to discover what this temptation is.
Tú vas a descubrir qué es esta tentación.
Like Kepha was tempted by the devil in Acts chapter 10 with the food.
Como Kefa fue tentado por el demonio en Hechos 10 con la comida.
Because God does not tempt you.
porque Dios no te tienta.
The devil tempts you.
El demonio es el que tienta.
You know, God is not going to tempt his own children.
Dios no va a tentar a sus propios hijos.
He's going to allow the devil to come into your life
Él va a permitir al demonio que que vaya a tu vida
and you to be tempted by the devil to see what you choose.
y que tú seas tentado por el demonio para ver qué es lo que tú escogerás.
Now the next question one would ask in verse 1,
La próxima pregunta que uno se hará en el versículo 1,
how would the Messianic congregation or the church at Galatia,
¿cómo la iglesia de Galacia,
how would they know what temptation is?
cómo ellos saben qué es la tentación?
Because he's saying so that you won't be tempted
Porque dice aquí, así no serás tentado,
unless they were being taught the Torah.
a no ser que a ellos les estaban enseñando la Torah.
Because then you know, look at verse 1 again.
Veamos el versículo 1 otra vez.
Brothers, suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You have the Spirit should set him right, but in the spirit of humility, keeping an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted too. Okay? So you're setting somebody right who is wrong,
Entonces tú estás restaurando a uno que está mal,
but you must keep your hedge of protection.
pero tú debes mantener tu círculo de protección.
How do you know how to keep up your hedge of protection?
¿Cómo tú sabes mantener tu círculo de protección? ¿No?
How would the children in Galatia know how to keep themselves protected?
¿Cómo los niños, los hijos de Galacia saben cómo mantenerse protegidos?
They would have to been taught the Torah.
Debe ser que a ellos se les enseñó la Torah.
Isn't this very interesting?
¿No es esto muy interesante?
Now let's do verse 1 and 2.
Ahora veamos los versículos 1 y 2.
But suppose someone is caught doing something wrong. You who have the Spirit should set him right, but in the spirit of humility, keeping an eye on yourselves so that you won't be tempted too. Bear one another's burden. In this way you will be fulfilling Torah's true meaning, which Messiah upholds. Okay? So in verse 2,
En el versículo 2,
why do I got to bear somebody else's burden?
¿por qué yo voy a llevar la carga de otro?
Because that is the whole understanding of the Torah.
Porque ese es el entendimiento completo de la Torah.
Okay? Because you love your neighbor as yourself.
Porque tú amas a tu prójimo como a ti mismo.
This is what the Torah's true meaning is.
Este es el verdadero significado de la Torah.
You know, because you don't want to see a fellow Israelite fail.
Porque no quieres ver a una prójimo israelita caer.
Okay? And then verse 2 again.
Y en el versículo 2,
Bear one another's burden. In this way you will be fulfilling the Torah's true meaning, which the Messiah upholds. Okay? Now what did Messiah uphold?
¿qué es lo que el Mesías defiende?
What did Yeshua follow?
¿Qué es lo que Yeshua siguió?
How many times did Yeshua read Colossians?
¿Cuántas veces Yeshua leyó Colosenses?
How many times did he read Galatians?
¿Cuántas veces leyó el Gálatas?
So what is Messiah upholding?
¿Qué es lo que el Mesías defendió?
What does Matthew 5 verse 18 say?
¿Qué dice Mateo 5:18?
Not one jot or tittle will be lost from the law until heaven and earth pass away.
Ni una coma ni un punto será perdido de la ley hasta que el cielo y la tierra pasen.
Okay, so you must do what Messiah did.
Entonces tú debes hacer lo que el Mesías hizo.
How many times do we see Messiah celebrating his birthday?
¿Cuántas veces hemos visto que el Mesías celebró su cumpleaños?
Never.
Nunca.
Okay? How many times do we see him celebrating Easter?
¿Cuántas veces lo vemos celebrando a él a Cuaresma?
Never.
Nunca.
So why are you doing that?
¿Por qué estás haciendo eso entonces?
So here you want to help your brother with a burden.
Entonces aquí quieres ayudar a tu hermano con una carga.
Okay? You want to know how to help your brother or sister.
Tú debes saber cómo ayudar a tu hermano o hermana.
Okay, so say your brother or sister has a drug problem.
Digamos que tu hermano o hermana tienen un problema de drogadicción.
Do you help them with helping to buy the cocaine for them?
¿Los ayudas comprando la cocaína para ellos?
No.
No.
Why?
¿Por qué?
What standard are you using?
¿Cuál estándar es el que tú estás utilizando?
Okay, Jehovah says we're to be sanctified.
Jehová dice que debemos ser
We're
santificados.
supposed to be holy.
Debemos ser santos.
So you'll pray with them,
Entonces tú oras con ellos.
you'll help them through, you don't want to be an enabler.
Tú no,
Evelyn, with the drug problem, you don't want to help enable the problem.
no quieres tú ayudar a que el problema siga.
You want to help them get through the sickness,
Tú debes ayudarlos a vencer esa enfermedad.
but you don't want to help the sin.
Pero no quieres tú ayudar al pecado.
So this is what Shaul is saying, help each other's burdens.
Esto es lo que Rab Shaul se refiere cuando dice lleven los unos las cargas de los otros.
Because remember,
Porque recuerden,
as a Messianic believer,
como un creyente mesiánico,
you lost everything,
tú perdiste todo.
okay? The Jews found out you're following Yeshua, you
Los-
lose everything,
Los judíos se enteraron que tú sigues al Mesías, tú pierdes todo.
okay? Let's go on to the next slide
Vámonos a la siguiente diapositiva
and read verse 2 again.
y leamos el versículo 2 otra vez.
Bear one another's burdens, in this way you will be fulfilling the Torah's true meaning, which the Messiah upholds. Okay? The Torah's true meaning.
El significado verdadero de la Torah.
Why study the Torah if we're under grace?
¿Por qué seguir estudiando la Torah si estamos bajo la gracia?
Okay? Why study the Torah
¿Por qué estudiar la Torah
if we're under grace?
si es que ya estamos bajo la
Now,
gracia?
now I know in this, we're reading from the CJB,
Yo sé que estamos leyendo de la Biblia completa
the
judía,
Complete Jewish Bible.
la Biblia completa
So
judía.
I'm just pulling it up on another computer here so I can read, because it says probably something a little different in the other translation.
El rabino está abriendo otra versión bíblica para ver qué es lo que dice.
Okay? 1 second here. Galatians chapter 6, verse 2.
Gálatas capítulo 6, versículo 2.
Let me just pull it up over here. Galatians 6, verse 2.
Gálatas 6, versículo 2.
Let me just switch translations here to NASB. Okay. In the other translations, it says, bear one another's burdens, thereby fulfill the law of Christ.
Amén.
So, what would be the law of Christ?
Dice aquí, llévenos unos las cargas de los otros y cumplan así la ley de Cristo el Mesías.
That- That would be the Torah.
¿Cuál sería la ley del Mesías? Sería la Torah.
Because Yeshua and the Father are one.
Porque Yeshua y el Padre son uno.
And most Christians think they're actually the same person.
Y muchos cristianos piensan que es la misma persona.
So, wouldn't the law of Christ be the law of the Father?
Entonces no sería la ley del Cristo, la ley del Padre.
Right? Wouldn't they be one and the same then?
Si la gente dice así, no sería así.
So, why fulfill the law of Christ if we're under grace?
¿Y por qué cumplir la ley del Cristo si es que estamos bajo la ley, la gracia?
And if I'm to love my neighbor with my heart, mind, soul, and if I'm to love God with my heart, mind, soul, and strength,
Y si yo voy a amar a Dios con todo mi corazón, mis fuerzas, mi espíritu,
what does that mean?
¿qué significa?
If I'm under grace, why do I got to do that?
Y si estoy bajo la gracia, ¿por qué debo hacer eso?
Like, the reason I'm taking so much time in the beginning of this
La
chapter
razón que me estoy tomando mucho tiempo en el principio de los capítulos,
is one, most people don't teach like this ministry.
es porque no hay gente que enseñe como este
They
ministerio.
don't go in depth into God's Word.
No se profundizan en la palabra de Dios.
And the reason that I do this
Y la razón que yo hago esto
is because Matthew 7 scares me.
es porque Mateo 7 me asusta.
You know, when I first read Matthew 7, where Yeshua said, get away from me, you workers of lawlessness.
Cuando yo leí la primera vez en Mateo 7 que Yeshua dice, aléjense de mí ustedes trabajadores de iniquidad,
But we preached in your name.
pero predicamos en tu nombre,
We healed in your name.
curamos en tu nombre.
Those are believers in the Messiah.
Esos son creyentes en el Mesías.
And then when I started to talk to Christians,
Y cuando comencé a hablar con los cristianos,
they constantly quoted this book of Galatians.
constantemente han citado el libro de Gálatas.
That's like the only book that they know.
Ese es el único libro que ellos conocen.
They don't quote Yeshua's words.
No citan las palabras de Yeshua.
But here, Shaul is saying in verse 2,
Pero aquí Rab Shaul está diciendo en el versículo 2,
he's talking about something Messiah upholds.
él está hablando algo que el Mesías defiende.
Well, what did he uphold?
Pero ¿qué es lo que defiende?
How would I know what he upholds?
¿Cómo yo sé qué es lo que él defiende?
I would have to read the Gospels.
Yo tendría que leer los evangelios.
And that way I can follow Yeshua in spirit and in truth.
Y de esa manera puedo seguir a Yeshua en espíritu y verdad.
Okay, let's read verse 3 and 4.
Leamos los versículos 3 y 4.
For if anyone thinks he is something when he is really nothing, he is fooling himself. So let each of you scrutinize his own actions. Then if you do find something to boast about, at least boasting will be based on what you've actually done and not merely on a judgment that you're better than someone else. Now here the key in verse number 4
Aquí el verso clave en el versículo número 4
is scrutinize your own action.
es examinar tus propias obras.
Scrutinize means look at your own actions
Examinar significa mirar a tus propias acciones.
to why am I looking at my own actions?
¿Y por qué yo voy a estar mirando mis propias acciones?
What am I holding them against?
¿En contra de qué yo estoy mirándolas?
What, like gold is pure when it's 24 karat.
Como el oro que es puro cuando es de 24 quilates.
If it's anything less than 24 karat,
Si es algo menos de 24 quilates,
it is impure.
es impuro.
So that's a standard to
Es-
scrutinize the gold with.
Ese es un estándar, una medida para examinar la pureza del oro.
If I'm scrutinizing my own actions,
Si yo estoy examinando mis propias acciones,
what am I scrutinizing them against?
¿en contra de qué yo las estoy examinando?
Against what is perfect.
En contra de lo que es perfecto.
What is perfect?
¿Qué es perfecto?
The word is perfect.
La palabra es perfecta.
Yeshua is perfect.
Yeshua es perfecto.
And what did he follow?
¿Y qué es lo que él siguió?
The 613 laws of his Father.
Las 613 leyes de su padre.
So once again,
Una vez más,
then if Paul is telling them to scrutinize their actions,
si Pablo les está diciendo que examinen sus propias acciones,
they must be being taught Buddhism.
quizá él les estuvo enseñando budismo.
No, they must be being taught Islam.
No, quizá les enseñó el Islam.
No.
Tampoco.
What would they be?
¿Qué es lo que les estaría enseñando?
What
Torah.
what are they being taught?
¿Qué es lo que Shaul les está enseñando?
They're being taught the Torah.
Les está enseñando la Torah.
But it doesn't matter if I'm circumcised or not. I guess it does.
Pero no importa si soy circuncidado, yo creo que sí.
But if you're using your circumcised man part to go to a prostitute, it doesn't matter now, does it?
Pero si utilizas tu parte de hombre circuncidada para ir donde una prostituta, no importa.
If you're using your man part to have sex with another man,
Si utilizas tu parte del hombre para tener sexo con otro hombre,
then it doesn't matter if you're circumcised.
entonces no importa si eres circuncidado.
You must scrutinize your own actions in light of what?
Amén. Debes examinar tus propias obras a luz de qué.
Why is homosexuality wrong?
¿Por qué el homosexualismo está mal?
Because Leviticus 18 verse 22 says it's wrong.
Porque Levíticos 18, versículo 22 dice que está mal.
Why can't a woman be a rabbi?
Porque una mujer no puede ser rabino.
Because every 28 days she is unclean.
Porque cada 28 días ella está impura.
You got to scrutinize your own actions.
Tienes que examinar tus propias
And
acciones.
she can't go into the holy place being unclean. She can't touch holy objects.
Y ella no puede entrar al lugar santo estando impura, no puede tocar los objetos santos.
So she couldn't put on the holy garments.
Entonces ella no pudiera vestir las ropas santas.
How do I scrutinize my own actions?
¿Cómo yo examino mis propias acciones?
Oh, that would be the 34 categories of the law.
Esas serían las 34 categorías de la ley.
But if we're under grace,
Pero si estamos bajo la gracia,
then why do I got to scrutinize my actions?
¿por qué yo debo examinar mis acciones?
Why was David wrong for looking at Bathsheba taking a bath?
¿Por qué el rey David estuvo equivocado cuando le vio a Bathsheba tomándose un baño?
Because he was coveting somebody else's wife.
Porque él estaba codiciando a la mujer de otro hombre.
Why was David wrong for killing Bathsheba's husband?
¿Por qué estuvo mal cuando David mandó a matar al esposo de Bathsheba?
Because that's called murder.
Porque eso es asesinar.
Why is abortion wrong?
¿Por qué el aborto está mal?
Because that's called murder.
Porque eso también se llama asesinar.
But you shouldn't have been fornicating in the first place.
Pero no debiste haber estado fornicando al principio.
I don't see too many married couples wanting to get rid of a child, except for my mother.
Yo no veo de muchos matrimonios queriendo deshacerse de los bebés.
Asher, what are you doing? Where are you going? So, are you scrutinizing your actions? Yes, I'm trying to get over here, he says.
¿Estás examinando tus acciones?
Uh-huh. Okay, so scrutinize your own actions on what standard?
Examinar tus acciones bajo qué estándar.
You okay, Adriana?
I'm thinking about what Yeshua said when.
You got to speak up a little bit. I don't got the merry-go-round music, but I got this guy screaming underneath my butt.
I'm thinking about what Yeshua said in the Gospels, that to judge your brother, or to judge, or to look at what the person has in the eye. What is it? I don't know.
Have a log in your own eye.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
look at your own respect. So, all these 2 or 3 verses brought me to that sentence that Yeshua stated in the Gospel.
Why do you say take the splinter out of your,
Yeah, and
when you have a log in your own eye?
exactly. Yeah, it was kind of that. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you have, so scrutinizing your own actions
Examinar tus propias acciones
is by God's standard, Elohim's standard.
es bajo los estándares de Elohim.
Now let's read verse 4 again.
Leamos el versículo 4 otra vez.
4.
Versículo 4.
So let each of you scrutinize his own action. Then if you do find something to boast about, at least boasting will be based on what you have actually done and not merely a judgment that you're better than someone else. Okay? Now, actually done. Actually done.
¿Quién lo ha hecho?
Okay? In whose kingdom?
¿En el reino de quién?
Actually done for God.
¿Qué se lo ha hecho por Dios?
How do you know what to do for God?
¿Cómo tú sabes qué hacer por Dios?
Oh, they must be following the law.
Debe ser que estaban siguiendo la ley.
So you're not just saying, I'm a better football player than you.
Así no, tú no vas a decir yo soy mejor jugador de fútbol que tú.
I'm following God's Torah better than you.
Estoy siguiendo la Torah de Dios mejor que tú.
We're not worried about man's standards.
No estamos nosotros preocupados de los estándares del hombre o del mundo.
This is what they were coming out of.
De esto es lo que ellos están saliendo.
Okay, that's really what most people who read Galatians don't understand.
Eso es lo que la mayoría de la gente que lee de Gálatas no entiende.
We're not following man's standards anymore.
Ya no estamos siguiendo el estándar de los hombres más.
We're following God's standards.
Estamos siguiendo el estándar de Dios.
And once you have that in your
Y
mind,
una vez que tienes eso en tu mente,
now you understand the entire letter.
ahora tú entiendes la carta en su completitud.
And this would have been better if he just wrote chapter 6.
Y hubiera sido mejor si hubiera solo escrito el
It
capítulo
would have
6.
led a lot less confusion.
Hubiera habido menos confusión.
Now, verse number 5.
Versículo número 5.
For each person will carry his own load. Okay? Why is Shaul saying that?
¿Por qué Rab Shaul dice eso?
Because Yeshua said, carry your cross.
Porque Yeshua dice, lleva tu cruz.
Give your burdens to him.
Dale tus cargas a él.
So that means get rid of the worldly stuff
Eso significa deshacerte de las cosas mundanas.
and start doing what God says to do.
Y comienza a hacer lo que Dios dice que debes hacer.
Well, I can't look at pornography anymore.
No puedo ver la pornografía más.
I got to stay married to my wife.
Tengo que seguir casado con mi esposa.
Well, she put on a little bit of weight.
Bueno, se subió de peso un poquito.
And there's this little cute girl at work with me.
Y hay una muchachita linda en el trabajo conmigo.
I can't tell you how many men I counsel.
No puedo decirte cuántos hombres yo he aconsejado.
She doesn't do it for me anymore.
Ella ya no lo hace para mí.
You made a promise,
Tú hiciste una promesa.
okay? Carry your load.
Lleva tu carga.
Don't get married unless you can do it to the end.
No te cases a no ser que vayas a mantenerte hasta el final.
Okay? See, a lot of people plan for the wedding, but they don't plan for marriage.
Mucha gente planea para la fiesta, pero no para la vida matrimonial.
Marriage for better or for worse.
Matrimonio para bien o para mal.
In sickness and in health.
En enfermedad y en salud.
In good times and in bad.
En buenos tiempos y en malos tiempos.
Okay? This is why when you get married, you have to get married with a fellow believer. This is why Shaul says, don't get unevenly yoked.
Por esta razón tú tienes que casarte con un creyente como tú. Por eso Rab Shaul dice ni siquiera que no te cases con alguien de yugo desigual.
Because the man will fly, the woman will fly.
Porque el hombre volará y la mujer volará.
Because don't blame it all on the men now.
Porque no le echen la culpa a los
Women are
demás.
equally as bad nowadays.
La mujer es igual mala ahora en estos días.
Speaking about it, the women have been bad for about 2,000 years too.
Y hablándolo de eso, la mujer ha sido mala por los últimos 2000 años.
Remember John chapter 8?
Porque recuerda Juan capítulo 8.
They brought the woman who was caught in adultery. She wasn't being raped, she was caught in adultery.
Trajeron a la mujer que estuvo en adulterio. No estaba siendo violada, sino que estaba cometiendo adulterio.
Could you just check the camera and make sure I put the squiggly wire in? I just don't remember if I did that. Okay, thank you. Going on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Any questions or comments on the section number 1?
I just want to say something about the marriage that you say. I think that even to find a believer or someone that believes the same way as you do, it has to be someone from the same kehillah that you go, because every kehillah is different. We see sadly, a lot of Messianic congregations have other traditions, and that will be a stumbling stone for the couple.
Well, hopefully the couple talks before they get married.
That's true. Esperemos que la pareja hable al principio antes de casarse.
That's why in our marriage class,
Por eso es que hay la clase matrimonial.
we tell the couples to talk about these issues.
Y les decimos a la pareja que hable de estas situaciones.
Let's say, like we just went through the Bikkurim.
Por ejemplo, acabamos de pasar la festividad de Bekurim.
Let's say a couple is going to get married,
Digamos que una pareja se va a casar
and one of the persons in the couple
y una de las personas de esta pareja
believes in giving the full Bikkurim.
cree en que tiene que dar todos sus primeros frutos.
And the other person does not believe in giving anything.
Y la otra persona cree que no debe dar los primeros frutos.
Then they shouldn't get married,
Entonces no deberían
because
casarse.
that's going to destroy the marriage. Money destroys many marriages.
Porque eso va a destruir el matrimonio. El dinero destruye muchos matrimonios.
Because, it's biblical to keep your money together.
porque es bíblico el tener el dinero juntos.
Those that don't have a joint bank account
O aquellos que no tienen una cuenta bancaria juntos,
are not following biblical principles.
no están siguiendo los principios bíblicos.
You don't have your bank account and then his bank account.
Tú no tienes tu cuenta de ahorros o de banco y él no debe tener su cuenta de banco.
Because it's all his bank account.
Porque es todo su cuenta de banco.
Why am I saying that?
¿Por qué digo eso?
Because you're his property.
Porque tú eres su propiedad.
So you don't have anything of your own.
Entonces no tienes nada que te pertenece a ti.
Well, I don't believe like that. Okay, that's cool.
Y yo no creo en eso, pero está bien.
Then don't get married
No te cases.
because you're going to end up divorced.
Porque vas a terminar divorciándote.
And if you get married under a huppah,
Y si te casas bajo una jupa,
when you get divorced, you give up your soul
cuando tú te divorcias, tú también estás perdiendo tu alma.
because you made a promise, and a man cannot be released from a promise unless it's by God himself.
Porque un hombre no puede ser liberado de la promesa a no ser que sea por Dios mismo.
And that's Numbers chapter 30.
Y eso es Números 30.
Now back to Galatians.
De vuelta a Gálatas.
But you see how he's teaching the Torah to the Galatians.
Si ves cómo él está enseñando la Torah a la gente de Galacia.
Galatians now, we're in section number 2.
Gálatas, ahora vamos a la sección número 2.
We are only in verse number 6.
Estamos apenas en el versículo 6.
Huh?
45 minutes to 9 to the time. And we still at 1, so there's a lot of information to that.
Well, that's
Amén.
ministry is the way it is.
Por eso es que este ministerio es de la manera que es.
And that's why we do as much possible to teach.
Y por eso es que tratamos de hacer lo que más se puede. Yes.
One second. Got to change. Galatas capítulo 6, versículo 6. But whoever is being... Am I cutting out now? They just do that upstairs. It was working.
You broke it out, Rabbi.
Okay. What now? You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. But Galatas capítulo 6, throw those away.
You gave me 4.
No, make sure she has 2 extra.
Okay.
Because they've been in the draw a little bit.
Ah, they're old.
We use up everything here.
Amén.
We don't waste. We don't waste God's money and his time. All right.
Thank
Now, Galatas capítulo 6, versículo 6. Galatians chapter 6, verse 6. I'm speaking in tongues.
Está hablando en lenguas del rabino.
But whoever is being instructed in the word should share all good things he has with his instructor. Now, there are 2 key parts to verse number 6.
Hay dos partes claves en el versículo 6.
Okay? Instructed in the word
Instruido en la palabra, os enseña la palabra,
and good things he has with his instructor.
que comparta toda cosa buena con lo que se le enseña.
Now, verse 6 confirms everything we said before.
El versículo 6 confirma todo lo que hemos hablado anteriormente.
Because instructed in the word,
Porque enseñar en la palabra o instruido en la palabra,
what word would that be?
¿qué palabra sería esa?
Because the New Testament is not written.
Porque el Nuevo Testamento aún no está escrito.
Okay? That must mean the Tanakh, the Old Testament.
Ese debería ser el Tanakh o el Antiguo Testamento.
So why teach something if we don't need to do it anymore?
¿Por qué enseñar algo que ya no se debería hacer entonces?
Why do I need to do, if I'm under grace, why are you teaching me how to keep kosher?
Si ya estoy bajo la gracia, ¿por qué me tienes que enseñar a observar kosher?
I guess you still have to keep kosher.
Creo que aún debes mantener kosher.
I guess a woman who's having her menstrual cycle, the man has to sleep in a different bed.
Yo creo que la mujer que aún tiene su periodo, el esposo tiene que dormir en otra cama.
I guess a woman who's having her menstrual cycle, that man can't use the same toilet.
Yo creo que cuando la mujer tiene el periodo, el hombre no puede utilizar el mismo sanitario,
Because you can't sit on the same seat she sat on.
porque no te puedes sentar en el mismo asiento que ella se sentó.
Okay, so all you people out there
Entonces, todos ustedes que están afuera,
that have wives that are still having, or even women in your house,
que tienen mujeres o las esposas que viven en casa.
and Raved has a lot of women in his house, even the cat's a woman.
Incluso Rabbit tiene muchas mujeres en casa, hasta el gato es hombre.
He's always going outside to pee on the tree.
Me va a tener que salir a orinar afuera.
Okay,
And
you
that's the
can't
same
you
way.
can't sit on the same seat.
No puedes sentarte en el mismo asiento,
Okay, so, but we're under grace.
pero estamos bajo la gracia.
Evidently not.
Evidentemente no.
Grace means God had every right to kill you.
Dios tiene todo derecho a matarte.
Grace is really mercy.
La gracia realmente es misericordia.
Okay, now it says instructed in the word.
Ser instruido en la palabra, dice aquí.
Let's take a look at the Greek word that is used there,
Vamos a ver qué palabra griega se utilizó allí,
because then we will definitely hake mate the world.
porque definitivamente vamos a hacer un jaque mate a la gente.
Now, the word is G3056.
La palabra para palabra es G3056.
It is the word logos.
Es la palabra griega logos.
It means number one of speech,
Sí, el número 1 es de speech. Hablar. Discurso, de discurso.
your discourse. Number two, a word
Una palabra, número 2,
uttered by a living voice,
dicha por una voz viva,
embodies a conception or an idea.
que enviste una concepción o idea.
Now here, number three,
Número 3, la importante.
the sayings of God,
Los
Jehovah.
dichos de Dios, Jehová.
Number four,
Número 4,
decree, mandate, or order.
decreto, mandato u orden.
Number five,
Número 5,
of moral precepts given by Jehovah.
de preceptos morales dados por Jehová.
Number six,
Y número 6,
Old Testament prophecies given by the prophets.
las profecías del Antiguo Testamento dadas por los profetas.
So, verse 6,
El versículo 6,
but whoever is being instructed by the word should share all the good things he has with his instructor. Okay? Number 3,
número 3,
the sayings of God.
los dichos de Dios.
What would be the sayings of God?
¿Cuáles serían las cosas que Dios dijo?
Zakor Yom HaShabbat. Keep the Sabbath holy.
Observa el Shabbat como santo.
So here, this is now more proof
Aquí vemos incluso una prueba más
that we are to keep the law.
de que debemos guardar o observar la ley.
Because why being instructed in the logos?
¿Por qué el ser instruido en el Logos?
And look at number 5.
Y mira lo que dice la definición 5.
Moral precepts given by God.
Los preceptos morales dados por Dios.
What would be those moral precepts?
¿Cuáles serían esos preceptos morales?
That would be the 7 biblical holy days.
Esos serían los 7 días bíblicos santos.
That would be kosher.
Eso sería kosher.
That would be the 613 laws given by Jehovah Elohim himself.
Esas serían las 613 leyes dadas por Dios mismo.
Okay? And then it says you should share all the good things with your instructor.
Y dice que debes compartir las mismas cosas con el que le enseña.
That means that you're achieving the goal.
Significa que has alcanzado la meta.
I was able to break free of drug use.
Yo pude liberarme del uso de las drogas.
I was able to leave the corner of my field.
Yo logré dejar las esquinas de mi campo.
My wife is now covering her head.
Mi esposa ahora se está cubriendo el cabello.
You know, whatever it is.
Lo que sea.
You want to share that with your instructor, like, I'm understanding it.
Si quieres compartir eso con tu instructor, por ejemplo, el que ya entiendes,
But you're being instructed in the logos,
pero se te está enseñando en la palabra,
the moral precepts given by God.
en los preceptos morales dados por Dios.
I mean, if he just wrote chapter 6, it would have been much better.
Si hubiera escrito solo el capítulo 6, hubiera sido mucho mejor.
Okay? He was just so long-winded. I'm like, shut up and just get to the point.
Se demoró demasiado y le digo, cállate y llega al punto.
That's what I find the most difficult part about his writings is he's trying to cover too much. It's like, shut up and just get to the point.
Por eso es que yo encuentro de las cartas de Shaul difíciles porque se demora mucho en lugar de ir al punto.
Now, somebody's saying, well, why don't I just shut up and get to the point?
Hay algunos que dicen, ¿por qué no se calle y que siga el punto?
I have to undo all the Christian crap teachings that Franklin Graham still speaks about.
Yo tengo que deshacer toda esa basura cristiana que hasta ahora Franklin Graham habla.
Like the church is, you know, yes, it's good to stand with the unborn baby.
Como las iglesias dicen, sí está bien el mantenerse de pie con el bebé que no ha nacido.
But the sickness is the fornication.
Pero la enfermedad es la fornicación.
If they weren't having sex outside of marriage, you wouldn't have to worry about abortion.
Si no hubiera sexo fuera del matrimonio, no habría preocupación acerca del aborto.
If you weren't sending your kids to public school and you were teaching them at home, you wouldn't have to worry about them having sex.
Si estuvieras enseñando a tu hijo en casa y no los mandaras a la escuela pública, tú no deberías preocuparte de que estén teniendo sexo.
Okay? When you remove God from a society,
Cuando remueves a Dios de la sociedad,
when the 10 Commandments can't be put up, we have to argue about putting them up.
cuando los 10 mandamientos no se los puede poner, sino que toca discutir para ponerlos.
That's what the Christians should be worried about.
De eso los cristianos deberían preocuparse.
When Jewish people are being shot at synagogues,
Cuando los judíos están siendo disparados en la sinagoga,
and praise God, somebody else had a gun.
y gracias a Dios alguien más tuvo una pistola,
Makes the playing field even.
hace del juego igual.
So come on, try it again.
Entonces, inténtalo otra vez.
We're ready
Estamos listos
and practiced.
y hemos practicado.
We won't waste bullets.
No vamos a gastar balas
And our guns won't jam.
y nuestras pistolas no se van a trancar.
We know how to lubricate them.
Sí sabemos cómo lubricarlas.
See, you gotta know what you're doing.
Tienes que saber lo que estás haciendo.
But when you remove the word from the society,
Pero cuando remueves la palabra de la sociedad,
that's what he's talking about.
eso es lo que él está hablando.
And this is why we have to use so many words to undo his letters.
Por eso es que digo tantas palabras, porque tenemos que deshacer estas cartas.
Because he was
dividirlas.
trying to be thorough,
Porque él trató de ser
complete.
lo más completo, lo más detallado.
But sometimes when you're trying to be complete, you confuse.
Pero cuando quieres ser muy detallado, a veces puedes confundir.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Section number 3.
Sección
We're
número
going to
3.
finish this study tonight.
Vamos a terminar el estudio esta noche. If there are other questions.
Does anybody have any questions about verse 6?
¿Tiene alguien preguntas del versículo
I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Es algo que es muy directo.
You're being instructed in Torah,
Está siendo instruido en la
the
Torah,
precepts of God.
los preceptos de Dios.
All right. Section number 3, verse 7 through 10.
Sección número 3, versículos 7 al 10.
Now, verse 7 and 8 must be read together, but we're going to read 7 through 10 first.
Los versículos 7 y 8 debemos leerlos juntos, pero primero vamos a leer del 7 al 10.
Don't delude yourselves, no one makes a fool of God. A person reaps what he sows. Those who keep sowing in the field of their old nature in order to meet its demands will eventually reap ruin. But those who keep sowing in the field of the Spirit will reap from the Spirit everlasting life. So let us not grow weary of doing what is good. For if we don't give up, we will in due time reap the harvest.
Amen.
Therefore, as the opportunity arises, let us do what is good to everyone, and especially to the family of those who are trusting, faithful. Okay, now verse 7 and 8 must be read together.
Los versículos 7 y 8 deben leerse juntos.
Because if you don't read those two verses together,
Porque si no leemos esos dos versos a la misma vez, al
you
mismo
don't
tiempo,
understand what's being said.
no vas a entender lo que dice.
7 and 8.
Versículos 7 y 8.
Don't delude yourselves. No one makes a fool of God. A person reaps what he sows. Those who keep sowing in the field of their old nature in order to meet its demand will eventually reap ruin. But those who keep sowing in the field of the Spirit will reap from the Spirit of everlasting life.
Amen.
See, Christians love to break those two verses apart
A los cristianos les gusta dividir estos dos versos,
because then they don't know what they're reading.
porque entonces ahí no saben lo que están leyendo.
Okay? So the beginning part here,
En la parte del principio aquí,
you can't try to fool
no,
Jehovah.
no puedes tú tratar de engañar a Jehová.
He's old, but he still has everything working perfectly.
Él es viejo, pero aún tiene todo está trabajando.
Okay? Now, here in verse 7,
Aquí en el versículo 7,
the Christian body loves to say, well, you reap what you sow.
el cuerpo cristiano dice, bueno, tú cosechas lo que siembras.
You don't understand what that means until you get to the next verse.
Tú no entiendes qué significa eso hasta leer el siguiente verso,
Because you need the beginning of verse 8 to understand reaping.
porque necesitas el entendimiento del principio del versículo 8 para entender lo que es segar
And sowing.
y sembrar.
Let's read the beginning of verse number 8.
Versículo 8, el principio.
Those who keep sowing in the field of their old nature. Okay? Now the question asked there,
La pregunta de hacer aquí es,
what is the difference between the old nature and the new nature?
¿cuál es la diferencia entre la naturaleza antigua y la nueva naturaleza?
How do I tell the difference?
¿Cómo es que yo puedo decir la diferencia?
Well, the old nature, I used to like to curse.
En la naturaleza antigua yo decía malas palabras,
I used to use profanity.
usaba profanidad.
Could you make it 1 degree higher in here? Okay. So, why did I stop cursing?
¿Por qué yo dejé de decir malas palabras?
Because you can't bless God with the same mouth that you're cursing people with.
Porque no puedes bendecir a Dios con la misma boca que tú insultas a la gente.
So, you must understand that he's talking about keeping the Torah.
Entonces tú debes entender que Él está hablando acerca de observar la Torah.
Because how do I know myself what is an old nature and what is new?
Porque como yo sé que es la vieja naturaleza y la nueva.
Friday night, we used to go out dancing and drinking.
El viernes en la noche íbamos de baile y a beber.
Okay? That's the old nature.
Esa es la naturaleza antigua.
The new nature is Friday night, you enter into Shabbat.
La nueva naturaleza es que tú entras al Shabbat en el viernes
And everything stops.
y todo se detiene.
Okay? The world should get shut out.
El mundo se debería detener.
Okay? It's a day that Jehovah says is for himself.
Jehová dice que ese día es para Él.
Okay? Now verse 8 again.
El versículo 8 otra vez.
Those who keep sowing in the field of the old nature in order to meet its demands will eventually reap ruin. Those who keep sowing in the field of the Spirit will reap the Spirit of everlasting life. So here, in the middle of the sentence,
Aquí en medio de la oración,
you're in the field of the old nature,
estás segando en el campo de la naturaleza antigua
okay, to meet its demands.
para poder alcanzar lo que demanda.
That means you're not walking with God.
Significa que no estás caminando con Dios.
Well, I have to work Saturdays.
Tengo que trabajar los sábados.
Okay, well, you need to find another line of work.
Entonces vas a tener que encontrar otra línea de trabajo.
Okay, so if you're going If you're doing stuff for pagans on Saturday,
Entonces, si estás haciendo cosas para los paganos el día sábado,
you are reaping in the old spirit.
tú estás cosechando en la carne antigua.
Well, that's wrong. We're supposed to help the sick.
Eso está mal porque debemos ayudar al enfermo.
Well, what do you do in the other 6 days of the week?
¿Qué haces en los otros 6 días de la semana?
Is Saturday the only day you're taking care of the sick?
Es sábado el único día que cuidas a los enfermos.
Okay, nothing touches the Shabbat.
Nada debe tocar el Shabbat.
So if you're taking care of an elderly parent,
Si estás cuidando de un padre anciano,
okay, if you're doing it all week long,
si lo estás haciendo toda la semana,
then you get your Shabbat off. You got to get your siblings to help take care of the elderly parent.
tú tienes que deber tener tu Shabbat libre y a decir a tus hermanos que cuiden de tu padre.
Okay, or whatever you're doing
O lo que sea que tú estés haciendo
to meet the demands of the world.
para cumplir las demandas del mundo.
If you are compromising the Shabbat,
Si tú estás comprometiendo el Shabbat,
then you are sowing in the field of the old nature.
entonces tú estás cosechando en el campo de la antigua naturaleza.
Now, how do you prove this?
¿Cómo es que tú pruebas esto?
Because remember verse 6,
Porque recuerden el versículo 6,
they will be taught in the Logos,
se debe enseñar en los logos,
the precepts of God.
los preceptos de Dios.
So once you start following the precepts of Jehovah,
Una vez que comienzas a seguir los preceptos de Jehová,
you can't go back to going in the old field.
no puedes regresar a estar en el antiguo terreno.
Oh, so you're like, I can't wait till Shabbat's over.
Tú debes decir, tú no, porque no vas a decir, no puedes esperar a que el Shabbat se termine.
I got to meet some people.
Tengo que encontrarme con unas personas.
Okay, you're going to reap ruin eventually because the devil is going to pull you away.
Tú vas a encontrarte con la ruina porque eventualmente Satanás te va a terminar de jalar.
But look at verse 8 again.
Veamos al versículo 8 otra vez.
Those who keep sowing in the field of their old nature in order to meet its demands will eventually reap ruin. But those who keep sowing in the field of the Spirit will reap from the Spirit everlasting life. What's the field of the Spirit?
¿Cuál es el campo del Espíritu?
Does the Spirit of God contradict the Father?
¿Será que el Espíritu de Dios contradice al Padre?
Does the Holy Spirit contradict the Father in any way?
¿Será que el Espíritu de Dios contradice al Padre de alguna manera?
So if you're sowing in the field of the law,
Entonces, si estás sembrando en el campo de la ley,
then Shaul says you will reap everlasting life.
entonces Rab Shaul dice que tú cosecharás la vida eterna.
But if you want to reap in the spirit of the devil,
Pero si quieres cosechar en el campo del demonio,
then you're going to come to ruin.
entonces tú vas a llegar a la ruina.
You don't try to make a fool of God.
No vas a poder engañar a Dios.
Okay, so Evelyn asks about the asking your sibling to take care of the elderly parent, having somebody work in your place.
Evelyn está preguntando acerca de cuidar al padre, que tu hermano cuide de tu padre o pedir a alguien que trabaje en tu lugar.
No, if the pagan is not going to keep the Shabbat anyway, you're not making them work, they're just doing it anyway.
El pagano no guarda Shabbat o no los estás haciendo trabajar, ellos lo van a hacer.
They're not keeping the Shabbat as it is.
Ellos no están observando el Shabbat como tal.
So if an elderly parent is bedridden
Si un padre está en la cama enfermo
and your sibling is not keeping the Sabbath anyway,
y tu hermano o tu hermana no guarda el Shabbat de todas maneras,
no, you can't have a pagan cook for you
no puedes hacer que un pagano cocine para
because you were
ti,
supposed to plan for yourself.
porque tú debiste de haber planeado para ti.
But the sick parent can't get out of bed.
Pero el padre que está enfermo no puede salir de la cama.
So you have the pagans take care of the sick people on the Shabbat.
Entonces los paganos tienen que cuidar de la gente enferma en Shabbat.
Then you take care of the elderly parent the other 6 days of the week.
Entonces tú cuidarás del padre que está enfermo los próximos 6 días de la semana.
But doing things for yourself, you can take care of yourself even though you're a little vintage.
Pero para hacer cosas de ti mismo, tú puedes hacerlo porque tú estás un poquito abuelita, no mucho. Ay,
Okay.
I'm gonna get killed.
All right. Let's move on to the next slide.
Próxima diapositiva.
Okay. Verse 7 and 8 again.
Versículos 7 y 8 otra vez.
Don't delude yourselves. No one makes a fool of Elohim. Person reaps what he sows. Those who keep sowing in the field of the old nature will, in order to meet its demands, will eventually reap ruin. But those who keep sowing in the field of the Spirit will reap the spirit of everlasting life. Okay, so the old nature, what is the old nature?
¿Cuál es la naturaleza antigua?
Okay, in some translation it has the word flesh.
En algunas traducciones tiene la palabra carne.
Then now let's go through these definitions.
Ahora vamos a ver las definiciones.
Because if you're reaping in the flesh,
Porque si estamos cosechando en la carne,
let's see what it says.
vamos a ver qué significa.
Okay? The flesh is G4561.
Carne es G4561.
It means number 1,
Significa número 1,
flesh as in your skin.
la carne como tu piel.
That's number 1.
Número 1.
Number 2,
Número 2,
natural or physical origin,
de origen natural o físico.
generation or relationship.
Generación o relación.
Number 3,
Número 3,
the sensuous nature of man, the animal nature.
la parte sensual del hombre.
Okay,
La
number
naturaleza animal.
number 4,
Número 4,
the animal nature with cravings to incite sin.
la naturaleza animal con antojos de incitar al pecado.
And number 5,
Número 5,
the flesh,
la carne,
mere human nature,
la naturaleza humana,
man apart from divine influence.
el hombre apartado de la influencia divina.
So if you that's what your old nature is.
Eso es lo que es tu naturaleza antigua.
That is the flesh
Esa es la carne
apart from divine influence.
que está apartado o alejado de las divinas influencias.
So if you keep reaping in that old area,
Si estás aún cosechando en esa área,
it's going to be a disaster.
eso va a ser un desastre.
Okay? So once again, he's
Una-
not saying we don't need to follow the Torah.
Una vez más, no está diciendo que no debemos seguir la Torah.
Because how do I know what sin is?
Porque como yo sé que es el pecado,
What is divine influence?
¿qué es la influencia divina?
Well, that would be what God says is holy.
Entonces eso sería lo que Dios considera santo.
Has everybody seen this?
Estamos viendo
Or
eso.
are you bored with this study?
¿O estás aburrido
I'm
con
going
el
to go on to the
estudio?
funeral study.
Vamos al estudio del funeral.
Okay, going on to the next slide.
Vamos a la próxima diapositiva.
Okay, now we're going to look at 7, 8, actually, verse number 9 and 10.
Vamos a ver los versículos 9 y 10.
So let us not grow weary of doing what is good. For if we don't give up, we will in due time reap the harvest. Therefore, as an opportunity arises, let us do what is good to everyone, and especially to the family of those who are trusting faithful. How do I know what is good?
Como yo sé que es bueno.
Oh, remember they're being instructed in the Logos.
Recuerda que ellos están siendo instruidos en el Logos.
So, somebody wants me to come over to their house to celebrate Christmas.
Si alguien quiere que yo vaya a la casa de ellos a celebrar Navidad,
I can say, that's not good, I can't come.
yo les puedo decir, eso no es bueno, no puedo ir.
In verse number 9,
En el versículo 9,
it says, doing what is good.
dice aquí, haciendo lo que es el bien.
How do I know what is good?
¿Cómo yo sé que es bueno?
Whose standard am I using?
¿Cuál es el estándar de quién estoy usando?
What standard was Yeshua the Messiah using?
¿Cuál estándar estaba Yeshua el Mesías usando?
Once you have those two questions
Una vez que tienes esas dos preguntas
and you have the answer,
y tienes las respuestas,
then you know how to reap in the Spirit.
entonces sabrás cómo cosechar en el Espíritu.
But without those two questions,
Pero sin esas dos preguntas,
what is doing good?
¿Qué es el hacer bien?
Whose standard am I using?
¿Qué estándar estoy utilizando?
Because some people think broccoli on pizza is good. That's demonic, Rev
Porque
Will.
alguna gente piensa que el brócoli en la pizza es bueno y eso es satánico.
It ruins the pizza.
Arruina la pizza.
It makes it like it's for the devil. I'm going to give it to the dogs.
Lo hace como que es para el demonio.
It's for the swine.
Es para los puercos.
Okay? Now, once you find out that the standard that pizza does not have vegetables on it.
Una vez que entendamos que la pizza no tiene vegetales.
All right, let's go back to the scripture.
Vamos
What
a
is,
ver la
what is,
escritura.
what is a good standard?
¿Cuál es un buen estándar?
Because you don't want to reap in the harvest of the devil.
Porque no quieres cosechar en la cosecha del malvado.
How do you know if you're harvesting in the devil's field?
¿Cómo sabes si tú estás cosechando en el campo del malvado?
You got to know the law.
Tienes que saber la ley.
You got to know what you're responsible for.
Tienes que saber de qué tú eres responsable.
Because you can be harvesting poison ivy.
Porque puedes estar cosechando hiedra venenosa.
And go, oh, I want to eat this poison
Es
ivy.
decir, quiero comer esta hiedra venenosa.
Oh, you're going to have a serious problem. You put that in your mouth.
Vas a tener un problema grande si te pones eso en la boca.
The same goes for harvesting in the spirit in the devil's field.
Lo mismo va cuando se trata de cosechar en el campo del malvado.
How do you know how to harvest in the spirit's field?
¿Cómo sabes cómo cosechar en el campo del espíritu?
How would you know which, if the fields look similar,
Si los campos se ven similares,
how are you going to tell the difference?
¿cómo es que tú vas a saber la diferencia?
It's like sometimes you might eat a berry
Es como a veces tú quizá te comerás una fresa
that can make you very sick.
que puede enfermarte.
You have to know what you're looking at before you put it in your mouth.
Tienes tú que saber qué es lo que estás observando antes de metértelo a la boca.
How about putting something in your soul?
¿Qué tal acerca de poner en tu espíritu?
This is what he's talking about in this verse.
De esto habla en este verso.
Look at verse number 10.
Veamos al versículo 10.
Therefore, as the opportunity arises, let us do what is good to everyone, and especially to the family of those who are trustingly faithful. Right? Verse number 10 says, let us do what is good.
Versículo 10 dice, hagamos el bien.
Can I shoot up heroin?
¿Puedo meterme heroína?
People are saying no.
La gente dice que no.
Why is that no good?
¿Por qué no es bueno?
There's another big question out there.
Es una gran pregunta afuera.
And the Christians are asking this all the time.
Y los cristianos se preguntan esto.
Is it okay to smoke pot?
¿Está bien el fumar marihuana?
No,
No,
because you're destroying your brain. You're putting something in your temple
porque te estás destruyendo el cerebro, estás poniendo algo en tu templo
that is not supposed to be there.
que se supone que no debe estar allí.
So let us do what is good
Hagamos lo que es bueno
to everyone.
para todos.
So should I give my pot to somebody else?
Entonces debería regalarle mi hierba a otra persona.
Should I share my joints with everybody?
Debo yo compartir mis cigarritos con otros.
I use these very strong examples because this is what Shaul did very well.
Utilizo yo estos ejemplos muy extremos porque Rav Shaul lo hacía de esa manera.
Should we allow homosexuality?
¿Deberíamos permitir el homosexualismo?
No.
No.
Let us do what is good.
Hagamos lo que está bien.
Teach our children that marriage is between one man and one woman.
Enseñar a nuestros hijos que el matrimonio es entre un hombre y una mujer.
Let us not grow weary of teaching what is good.
No nos cansemos de enseñar lo que es bueno.
Let's go on to the next slide, verse number 10 again.
Vámonos al versículo 10 otra vez.
Therefore, as an opportunity arises, let us do what is good to everyone, especially to the family of those who are trustingly faithful. Okay? What is faithful?
¿Qué es fidelidad?
Faithful is how do you show your actions are faithful?
Fidelidad es mostrar las acciones.
How do you show your actions are faithful to God?
¿Cómo tú muestras las acciones de fidelidad a Dios?
Well, you're doing what Jehovah said and he doesn't change.
Estás haciendo lo que Jehová dijo porque Él no cambia.
So you only have to do what is good to those who are trusting and faithful.
Entonces tú tienes que hacer el bien para aquellos que confían en lo que es fidelidad.
Now, do you want to do good to other people? Yes.
¿Quieres hacer bien para otras personas? Sí.
Because one of the Proverbs said, by doing good, you'll reap coals on their head.
Porque uno de los proverbios dice que cuando haces el bien, tú acumulas carbones en su cabeza.
So if somebody does you evil
Si alguien te hace maldad
and you return good for evil,
y tú regresas bien por mal,
you will reap hot coals on their head.
tú lo que vas a hacer es acumular carbones calientes en su cabeza.
But what he's saying here in verse number 10
Pero lo que dice aquí en el versículo 10
is you have to do what is good to those who are in the body.
es que tú tienes que hacer el bien a aquellos que están en el cuerpo.
He's encouraging the new believers to be one family.
Él está animando a los creyentes a ser una sola familia.
But even to this day, we have a problem helping one another.
Pero incluso hasta este día tenemos problemas ayudándonos el uno con el otro.
Going on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Section number 4.
Sección número 4.
Okay, we got another about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Got 2 sections to get through.
Dos secciones más para terminar el
Verse 11 through 14.
versículos 11 al 14.
Okay, these are key verses.
Estos son versículos clave.
Look at the large letters I use as I close in my own handwriting. It is those who want to look good outwardly. Let me hold on a second. I'm blinking. 1 second. Charge. Verse 11 through 14.
Versos 11 al 14.
Look at the large letters I use as I close in my own handwriting. It is those who want to look out good outwardly who are trying to get you to be circumcised. The only reason they are doing it is to escape persecution for preaching about the Messiah's cross. For even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. On the contrary, they want you to get circumcised so that they can boast about having gained your adherence. But as for me, heaven forbid that I should boast about anything except the cross of our Lord Yeshua the Messiah. Through him, as far as I'm concerned, the world has been put to death on the cross, and through him, as far as the world is concerned, I've been put to death on the cross. Amen?
Amen.
They're trying to get the people circumcised,
Están tratando de hacer que la gente se circuncide.
not because Yeshua said you have to do this for Pesach.
No porque Yeshua dijo que debes hacer esto para la Pascua.
They're not doing it for the right reason.
No lo están haciendo por la razón correcta.
This is why I say about being circumcised.
Por eso es que digo acerca de ser circuncidado.
Because Yeshua said you must do the Pesach in remembrance of him.
Por eso es que, porque Yeshua dice que tú debes observar la Pascua en memoria a Él.
Okay? And if you're not circumcised, if a male is not
Y
circumcised,
si el hombre no está circuncidado,
then he can't celebrate the Pesach. He can't eat the meal.
entonces él no puede celebrar la Pascua, no
Sí.
puede comer el banquete.
So he's in open rebellion.
Entonces él está en rebeldía completa.
So here in these couple of verses,
Aquí en estos versículos,
he says in verse 13,
dice en el versículo 13,
for even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. On the contrary, they want you to get circumcised so they can boast of having your adherence. So they're doing it for the wrong reason.
lo están haciendo por la razón equivocada.
They should be doing it because you want to have them enter into heaven.
Deberían hacerlo porque quieres que aquellos entren al cielo.
Let's go on to the next slide.
Siguiente diapositiva.
Okay, verse 13 again.
Versículo 13 otra vez.
For even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. On the contrary, they want you to get circumcised so that they can boast of having gained your adherence. Okay? What he's saying here, and this is important,
Lo que está diciendo aquí es algo importante.
is that they're not following the law themselves.
Es que ellos mismos no están siguiendo la ley.
This goes back to Adriana's comment before.
Esto va al comentario de Adriana antes.
Take the log out of your own eye.
Saca la estaca de tu ojo.
Okay? If they're openly sinning,
Si ellos están pecando
or
abiertamente,
if you're openly sinning,
o tú estás pecando descaradamente,
what good is a circumcised penis?
¿qué bueno tiene el tener un pene circuncidado?
This is the whole key of the letter.
Esta es la clave completa de la carta.
You must be a new creation.
Tú debes ser una nueva creación.
But if you're still watching pornography,
Pero si aún miras la pornografía,
if you're still cursing,
si aún sigues insultando o diciendo malas palabras,
if you're still eating unclean food,
si aún comes comidas impuras,
if you're still going to pagan temples,
si aún sigues asistiendo a templos paganos,
then what good is circumcision?
entonces, ¿qué tiene bueno la circuncisión?
If you're a homosexual, what good is circumcision?
Si eres homosexual, ¿qué de bueno es la circuncisión?
And in verse 13,
En el versículo 13,
they don't even keep the law.
ni siquiera guardan la ley.
He says, but they don't even keep the law.
Porque dice aquí que ni siquiera ellos mismos guardan la ley.
I thought you said we don't have to keep the law.
Yo pensé que él dijo que no debemos guardar la ley.
Ah. Let's read verse 13 again.
Leamos el versículo 13 otra vez.
For even those who are getting circumcised don't observe the Torah. On the contrary, they want you to get circumcised so that they can boast about having gained your adherence. I thought said we don't have to keep the law.
Pero yo pensé que decías que no debemos guardar la ley.
Evidently, from verse 13 we do.
Evidentemente del versículo 13 debemos aún hacerlo.
Let's go on to the final section,
Vamos
section
a la
number
sección
5,
final, sección número 5,
verse 15 through 18.
Versículo 15 al 18.
And this is your key to for the last 13 weeks.
Y esta es la clave de las últimas 13 semanas.
Everything leads up to verse 15 is the key verse.
Todo lo que lleva al versículo 15 es el verso clave de todo.
Verse 15 through 18.
Versículo 15 al 18.
For neither being circumcised nor being uncircumcised matters. What matters is being a new creation. As many as order their lives by this rule, shalom will be upon them, and mercy upon Israel of Elohim. From now on, I don't want anyone to give me any more problems, certus, because I have scars on my body to prove I belong to Yeshua. The grace of our Lord Yeshua the Messiah be with you, be with your spirit, brothers. Amen.
Amen.
Key verse is 15.
Verso clave es el 15.
For neither being circumcised or uncircumcised matters. What matters is being a new creation. Amen?
Amén.
It doesn't matter if you have a circumcised man part.
No importa si tienes una parte masculina circuncidada.
If you're using your man part for adultery
Si estás utilizando tu parte masculina para cometer adulterio
or fornication
o fornicar
or homosexuality.
o para el homosexualismo,
Because then you're reaping in the old nature. You're reaping in the old flesh.
porque entonces estás cosechando en la naturaleza antigua, en la carne.
A man who is following God
Un hombre que está siguiendo a Dios
will keep his marriage vows.
va a mantener sus votos matrimoniales.
A woman who is following God will keep her marriage vows.
Una mujer que sigue a Dios va a mantener sus votos
Well, a lot of
matrimoniales.
women are saying, well, that's easy.
A la mujer dirá, pues eso es fácil.
Let's take it a little harder for somebody else. Let's take it a little harder.
Entonces veamos algo más difícil.
Gossiping.
Chisme.
That's real hard for most women.
Eso es muy difícil para muchas mujeres.
They love to talk more than men.
Les gusta hablar más que a los hombres.
They love to watch novellas and be part of novellas.
Les gusta mirar novelas y ser parte de las novelas.
If the novella is not going on in their life, they don't think they're living.
Si no están viviendo una novela, entonces no creen que están viviendo.
If there's only shalom, then something's wrong.
Si solo hay shalom, entonces hay algo malo.
Okay, so what matters is being the new creation.
Lo que importa es ser una nueva creación.
That was the whole key of the letter.
Esa fue la clave completa de la carta.
What matters is being this new creation.
Lo que importa es ser esta nueva creación.
What's the old creation?
¿Cuál es la creación antigua? Vieja.
How do I tell the difference between the old and new?
¿Cómo puedo diferenciar entre la nueva y la antigua creación?
Oh, that one must mean he's still teaching the Torah.
Eso debe ser que aún está enseñando la Torah.
Because how do I become a new creation?
Porque ¿cómo es que me he convertido en una nueva creación?
Well, I believe in Jesus.
Bueno, yo creo en Jesús.
So does the devil.
También el demonio cree en Jesús.
Do you follow Messiah?
Sigues al Mesías,
But if you're not keeping the Sabbath, then you're following the devil.
pero si no estás observando el sábado, entonces no sigues al Mesías.
And you're still in an old creation.
Aún sigue siendo una vieja creación.
What's the difference between holy and unholy?
¿Cuál es la diferencia de lo santo y lo que no es santo?
That would be the old creation and the new creation.
Eso sería una antigua creación y una nueva
The
creación.
old creation is unholy.
La vieja creación no es santa.
The new creation is holy.
La nueva creación es santa.
Let's go to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Verse 15 again.
Versículo 15.
For neither being circumcised nor being uncircumcised matters. What matters is being a new creation.
Amén.
What matters, who cares if you're physically circumcised and you don't keep the 7 holy days?
¿A quién importa si eres físicamente circuncidado si no guardas los días santos?
What matters is following God in spirit and in truth.
Lo que importa es seguir a Dios en espíritu y en verdad.
If you're still an old creation,
Si aún sigue siendo una antigua creación,
then you're helping Satan in his kingdom.
entonces estás ayudando a Satanás y a su reino.
What does it matter if you're circumcised in the flesh?
¿Qué importa si estás circuncidado en la carne?
What matters first,
Lo que importa primero
that you become a new creation
es que te conviertas en nueva creación,
in the spirit
en el espíritu,
and following the Ruach HaKodesh
y seguir al Ruach HaKodesh
in proper obedience.
en obediencia apropiada.
That's what a new creation is all about.
De eso se trata la nueva creación.
Next slide,
Siguiente diapositiva.
verse number 16.
Versículo número 16.
And as many as order their lives by this rule, shalom upon them and mercy, and upon the Israel of Elohim. Now, this sentence reads pretty terrible in the CJB.
Esta parte se lee muy mal en la completa Biblia judía.
Other translations have verse 16 much better.
Otras traducciones tienen la traducción del versículo 16 mucho mejor.
And those who walk by this rule.
Y aquellos que caminan conforme a esta regla.
What rule?
¿Cuál regla?
Becoming the new creation.
El ser una nueva creación.
Becoming a holy object.
De convertirse en un objeto santo.
What is a holy object?
¿Cuál es el objeto santo?
In God's standards.
En los estándares de Dios.
How does a person have peace with Jehovah?
¿Cómo es que una persona obtiene la paz con Jehová?
Obedience.
Obediencia.
Without obedience, you will not have peace.
Sin obediencia no vas a tener paz.
Going on to the next slide.
Vamos a la siguiente diapositiva.
Verse 17.
Versículo 17.
From now on, I don't want anyone to give me any scars because I have the scars on my body to prove that I belong to Yeshua. Okay? Do scars prove that you belong to Yeshua?
Las heridas, las marcas o cicatrices muestran que pertenece a Yeshua.
No.
No.
It was a stupid line he wrote there.
Esa es una línea estúpida que escribió
Because I've seen a lot of Christians think they belong to Yeshua.
porque he visto muchos cristianos que piensan que pertenecen a Yeshua.
Well, they belong to Jesus.
Le pertenecen a Jesús.
And get beaten, but they're not adhering to the law.
Y les pegan, pero no están adheridos a la ley.
So it doesn't prove anything.
No prueba nada.
What proves that you belong to Yeshua is obedience.
Lo que prueba que tú perteneces a Yeshua es obediencia,
Because it's the spirit, not the physical.
porque es en el espíritu y no en lo físico.
The physical will follow the spiritual.
En lo físico seguirá lo espiritual.
Now we've come to the conclusion, last slide to our presentation of the book of Galatians.
Hemos llegado a la conclusión del libro de Gálatas.
Any last
carta.
questions?
Las últimas preguntas.
Marty, how you doing out there? I didn't call on you tonight.
Everything is good, Rabbi. It's beautiful. I didn't even look at the two simple words. Verse 6, where it says, now let the one who is taught the word and share all the good things. It's nice. Beautiful. It's a whole different understanding.
Welcome
He
to
was
Beth
teaching
Goyim.
Torah.
Say it again.
He was teaching Torah the whole 9 years.
Amen. Let's see. Lizbeth, how you doing, Lizbeth? Oh, she did unmute. Any questions in here?
¿Preguntas?
Any questions? Adriana?
I have a request
Okay.
to pray for Abuelita. She's flying by herself
I will,
Wednesday night.
I will do that after we close. We're going to pray for Abuelita once we close. Any questions or comments about the study?
¿Preguntas o comentarios acerca del estudio?
Okay. Let's close in prayer and then we'll pray for Abuelita also.
Cerremos en oración y también oraremos por la abuelita.
Thank you, Lord, for your blessings today. Thank you, Lord, for this encouraging letter that we all become new creations. Let us walk in spirit and in the truth. Let us not sow anymore in the old nature, but sow in the new nature. And we ask your hand on our Abuelita, that she's traveling from Colombia all alone. I think she's old enough to do that now, but we ask for traveling mercies from Colombia to the United States on Wednesday. In your name, Yeshua, and everybody said, Amen. Shalom.
Shalom. This is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman. I would personally like to thank you for tuning in to the Remnant's Call each and every week. You can listen to the full message on our website, bethgoyim.org. If you have drawn closer to the King of Kings, learned more about him today, we are blessed. If you are blessed by these messages, please consider a donation to our ministry. You can go to our website, bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. And click on the donate button. You do not have to have a PayPal account to donate. All you need is a debit card. Once again, thank you very much for listening to The Remnant's Call.
If you have not taken your first steps to be born again, just ask God's help. Remember, it's His loving grace that has come to find you. No one is worthy or able to reach God, but God can reach us, and He's reaching out to you now. Just open your heart and let Him in. His arms are open, and the blessing of salvation and eternal life are waiting for you. Don't let it wait any longer.
Ya Adonai, panavoleka, vikuneka, Yisa Adonai, panavoleka, vayasem laka, shalom. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord lift His face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious unto you and give you His shalom.
Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat.
We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. Bgmc is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture, truly the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend the day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures, searching for clues to understand what they mean and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into his eternal word, not with just one or two scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of his kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with the reading of the new week's parashah. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, you can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.